Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, I asked my buddy Dave, who rebroadcasts everything that I do, whether it's videos and going fishing or it's the radio spots that you listen to. He rebroadcasts those later. And so he's very up to speed of what I'm doing and what we're trying to do for our area. And I called him and I said, Dave, look I've got a number of radio spots that I have to do this week. Have you got some ideas of maybe something I haven't mentioned or talked about? And he said, well, have you talked about making your own baits? And we have done that. I've done it a few times. But Dave is the one that actually does this. Since he retired, he started making his own soft plastic baits. And he's gone through quite a period of time of constantly improving because he sort of mimics some of the things I've talked about being a better fisherman. Well, with anything you do, if you keep learning as you go and you get better and better. And he said there's a lot of steps, but in soft plastics, he feels it's really important to the molds that you use. And through the period of time, he used to make his own molds. And now he buys them and they're made out of aluminum. And they make the baits much better. But there's different kinds of soft plastics you can use. Here's the point. Most any of us can do this if we want to. And the rewards are much greater than we might imagine. Like Dave said, the first time that you go out and you catch a fish on the lure that you've made, there's a tremendous feeling of satisfaction. And must I say joy? It must be. I remember as a kid, and again, my memories as a kid, but I remember the more I fished as I got a little bit older and just came to love the sport so much, I wanted to try to make something that the fish would hit. Now, in those days, there weren't a lot of offerings. There were a lot of plugs, and most of them were made out of wood. But I thought, geez, wonder if I could whittle something that would catch a fish. And so I started, and trust me, I don't have many talents that way. And that was one of my least talented aspects. But I tried. And I'd take my knife and I tried to picture what some of these plugs might look like. And I went out. And I remember the first time I threw out this, oh my goodness, horrible looking plug that I had created. And a fish came up and hit it. Oh, it was one of my favorite fish that I'd ever caught in my life. And I don't think at the time I thought something like, thank you. But boy, that was a pure joy. And for a lot of people that are really good at this, it's not only great to be able to make it and go out and catch a fish on it, but the very experience that you go through to make this, the thoughts that you put into the shape and the size, and there's so many aspects to this. And I got to tell you, these lures that Dave is making now, using the right kind of plastics, there's so many variations to the plastics that you put into this, from very soft and fragile to quite stiff and dense. And in today's world, most of these really soft, fragile ones are the choice of most, because the softer that plastic is, the more it's going to be affected by the pressure of the water against it. And it's going to shake and wiggle and paddle. And that's why you have paddle tails and they'll go back and forth. But the very sense of making it. We go through a lot of tough times in the winter. We have cabin fever. We can't wait to a new season to begin. But for those of you that maybe have a hard time getting out on the ice or enduring the cold in the winter, maybe this is something that would really spark up those days and make the winter far more endurable. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.